A couple months ago, I was about to order a new roll of chain like this from the guys over at Knothead Custom Sawing, and something about the price told me that I needed to practice sharpening chain. So it was at that moment that I decided to get really good at getting the most out of my chains and learning how to sharpen them properly. That being said, I think now is a really good time to show you how I make my own lengths of chain, the custom lengths. Basically, I'm an idiot, all right, but you know, if you can understand that, then you'll be able to follow along with this video just fine. Now, to break and spin a chain, you're gonna wanna purchase one of these bad boys. I got this one from Harbor Freight. I think it's like 60 bucks total. It comes on one side, it's got this feature here, which allows you to, it's basically like a small arbor press where you push down and it actually pushes out the old rivets. Let me see if I can get a close-up on it right here. It's literally gonna push out. See, if you put the old rivet right here, you understand what I mean. Never mind. And on the other side, it's got this feature here where you actually put the new chain in here and slowly apply pressure by screwing this side in as you spin this side. Whoa, the camera's going all over the place. Anywho, breaker, spinner. That's why it's called a breaker and a spinner. The chain I'm going to be replacing is a very long one, obviously. If you don't have an existing chain, what you can do is take a string and wrap it around your bar, and that should be pretty close to the same length of the chain. Then you're going to want to take the new chain and basically fake it over the top of the old chain or string so that you can get an exact length and the same exact number of drive links in your new chain. Now, I've already broken this one to be exactly the right length, but I'll show you how I do that next. Okay, so your chain breaker slash spinner should come with this guy here. This is like a little block that basically supports both sides of the chain while you push the rivet out. As you can see, mine is pretty well used. So you're gonna put the segment that you want to punch out right there, nestled snugly inside the crevasse, and then you're going to want to set the punch of this arbor right in the center of that rivet. Like, try and get it as close to center as possible. Now, I can't see so well, so it might be off center, but at least let's give it a shot. Here we go, putting pressure on. Oh God, okay. Ugh. Perfect. So that one punched through. Then we're going to move over to the other side. Same thing, bring it down slowly, try and get it right in the center. That's not in the center, PJ. Here we go. All right. Now we're pushing and we're pushing. Oh God. Okay. So that's both of them. And you see it kind of fell apart by itself. Now you've got a shorter chain. All right. Don't be tempted to reuse any of these parts because you pretty much just ruined all of them by doing that. So just as you may have suspected, putting those rivets back in takes just a little bit more skill than popping them out. But I'll show you how it's done. If you buy a big set, a big roll of chain like this, it should come with a bag of all these little master links in it, which looks something like this. They come in two pieces, and it's the big side with the rivets already in it, and then the other piece that looks something like this. Well, literally exactly like this. But anywho, they go together like so. But obviously they have the chain on either side of them to connect it. I don't know, I can never think of what to say in these videos. And I say these videos like I've done a bunch of them. This is literally my first video. And I can't even say literally. So here we are at the union of our chain, or both ends of the chain. where we're going to make our union. And I've got this master link here. You're going to simply put both ends onto either side of the master link like that, and then put this little cap over the top of it. Then when we bring this back over to the breaker and spinner, we're going to put just this section into that part that applies pressure, and it's going to mushroom over the head of these rivets, and it's going to be just as strong as all these other guys here. Okay, so we're going to take our chain with the master link installed like this, all right, and you're going to take the side that needs to have the head mushroomed on the side of the actual spinner, all right, so this side is facing you. You're going to drape it over these wheels, support wheels, okay. Nestle the already mushroomed head of the rivet onto the side that's gonna screw down and apply pressure. All right, we're gonna clamp it just to where it touches, like so. Give it a little spin to get it settled in there. Oh, I'm messing it up. Here we go. Okay, and now since it's got pressure in there, I can let go of the other side and hopefully it doesn't explode. Okay, good. So now I'm gonna spin this side, spin the spinner side, as I slowly crank down on the pressure side. And what I'm doing is creating a rivet head. I'm mushrooming out the top of that little piece that was sticking out before. Okay? I usually go about half a turn on the screw side, and that lets me know that I've gone far enough. And then you just loosen it up, back it off a little bit, and we are left with a pretty decent looking rivet head. And move it over and do the other side before we get too cocky. Do the same thing. I'm screwing in and I'm spinning at the same time. And you want to make sure that your jig is clamped down to the bench or some kind of big heavy table, because you're going to be applying a lot of pressure to this. Okay? And there you go. And if you don't do it too tight, they should swivel just fine like this. So now that little guy blends in with the rest of these rivets, and we should be able to run our chain now just fine, with no fear of breakage. Knock on wood. So now we've got basically a big 10-foot chain that we can go put on our Lucas mill and hopefully make some nice flat, smoothly cut slabs. By the way, the chain that I'm using is Oregon something. It's a hyperskip chain, which basically you've got a left and a right cutter, and then about 9 inches of nothing, and then another left and right cutter. The theory behind this style of chain is that it gives the chain a lot more of an opportunity to get rid of big chips. And since the chain is spinning so fast anyway, it doesn't really matter. I've tried to use like regular, regular chains where there's a tooth at every other drive link pretty much, and it just puts too much pressure on the whole saw. So this has about a third or maybe even a 25% of the amount of teeth on it. Not only do you sharpen it a lot faster because you have a lot less teeth to sharpen, but it also is a lot less stress on the motor and the drivetrain of the sawmill itself. And there's a plane going overhead, so you probably didn't hear anything I just said. It didn't matter anyway. Happy sawing.